or my own opinion. The article reads, California jury awards $289 million to a man who claimed Monsanto's Roundup pesticide gave him cancer. And I've seen people use that in their lawns and, their gardens of their houses. And it was in the Home Depot stores. And I don't know if they still actually sell it, but wow, this is a lot of money. But if you see what happened to this man, you'll know why he was awarded $289 million. And it's really sad. I know some people will look at these lawsuits and they'll say, wow, payday, a lot of money, but there's a lot more involved in this. And what makes it even more concerning is that there are a lot of people out there who could have also been in the same situation or maybe in the same situation as a result of this product, because this product has been out on the market for years. And this comes out August 10, 2018. So look at the man and look at how he looks. He doesn't look like he's in good health at all. And so you can see why he is being awarded $289 million. His story is really sad. So plaintiff Dwayne Lee Johnson reacts after hearing the verdict in his case against Monsanto Roundup. Now, if you look at the man, his skin, I don't know if you can see where I'm looking, but hopefully so. This is out of the Los Angeles Times. It's a sad story. I know he's relieved that he's going to be awarded the damages, the physical damages from the result of this chemical. And this man's skin, literally, it's like it's, like burned in some places. It looks like he's burned from where I'm looking at it. You can tell that he's suffering from something. And so we will get into this. So it wasn't San Diego, it was a San Francisco jury on Friday found Monsanto liable for a school groundskeeper. Okay, so he worked at a school. And I've seen a lot of people use these products. And, they're not just groundskeeper at schools, but they're also landscapers, for private homes. So this man, it says a San Francisco jury on Friday found Monsanto liable for a school groundskeeper's lymphoma that he said developed after years of applying the company's trademarked Roundup weed killer. So the $289 million verdict in San Francisco County Superior Court is certain to add momentum to a multi-front battle to ban Roundup's main active ingredient. And there's an ingredient in there called glyphosate. And so the compound is applied to millions of acres of crops, many of which have been genetically modified to withstand the herbicide. So it goes on to say that the jury deliberated 3 days before awarding 39 million in compensatory damages. Johnson, who he's only 46, he's illness of lymphoma, a cancer. And so he claimed that years of applying Monsanto's Roundup and Ranger Pro to school properties in a Bay Area suburb of Benicia caused his incurable non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Activists who have long battled to ban glyphosate, or glyphosate is what it's called, lauded the decision in the closely watched trial. And so there have been other people who have been very concerned about these chemicals, and they probably also suffer illnesses behind it. So Monsanto made Roundup, the Oxycontin of pest caused, have come home to roost, said Ken Cook, president of Environmental Working Group. This won't cure Dwayne Lee Johnson's cancer, but it will send a strong message to the renegade company. And so this is a pretty difficult situation because he was on the job for years using this product. And as a result, on his job, and usually jobs, even if you have, a legitimate excuse, you bring in sign from doctors that there's an illness resulting from a product that you're using on a job, a lot of times they will continue to enforce that you use the product until you can validly prove that whatever product you're using on the why, more than likely he had to file the lawsuit because if you want to keep your job, you're going to continue doing whatever your duties are until the very end, until you have to actually go to court and sue the company and also sue not only the company of where maybe you work for, putting a lot of more pressure on you to continue using the product, but also the makers of this product, knowing that this was out there. So the verdict signals a turning tide, said Linda Wells, Midwest Organizing Director for Pesticide Action Network. It's time to get carcinogenic pesticides off the market and fight for the protective regulations we all deserve, Wells said. So Monsanto, which continues to be run independently after merging earlier this year with German Argo Industrial giant Bayer AG, said in a statement that it will appeal the verdict. Okay, so we are sympathetic to Mr. Johnson and his family, said Scott Partridge, Monsanto's vice president of global strategy. Today's decision does not change the fact that more than 800 scientific studies and reviews and conclusions by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency The U.S. National Institute of Health and Regulatory Authorities around the world support the fact that glyphosate does not cause cancer and did not cause Mr. Johnson's cancer. So there's still, despite the proof that this man has come up with, and you see that the man is suffering from this illness, this company is fighting tooth and nail to stand behind their defense that their product did not cause this man's lifelong terminal illness, which he has been awarded the damage because he's suffering. This is an incurable disease that he cannot get rid of now as a result of years of use on the job, at his job, using this deadly product. So it goes on to say the bulk, or rather, let's go on to say that nationwide growers have used an estimated 1.8 million tons of the chemical since it was introduced in the mid-1970s, according to the government and industry estimates. The bulk of glyphosate was sprayed on tens of millions of acres of corn and soy in the Midwest. The California growers also applied it to more than 200 crops across 4 million acres, including 1.5 million acres of almonds, making it their most widely used herbicide, according to the California Department of Pesticide Regulation. Having inherited a company long vilified by environmental activists as Monsanto, Bayer faces high potential liabilities from hundreds of similar lawsuits, along with a battle over adding a cancer warning label on the products sold in California. A U.S. District Court judge earlier this year temporarily halted moves by California to require a cancer warning label under Proposition 65. So the Safe Drinking Water and Toxic Enforcement Act passed by voters in 1986. California's decision to include glyphosate on its list of chemicals linked to cancer followed by 2015 ruling by the Europe-based International Agency for Research on Cancer that the chemical is a probable carcinogen. And carcinogen has to do with cancer or cancer-causing chemicals. So the U.S. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, as well as its counterpart agencies in the European Union, have disagreed with the conclusion reached by the panel, which is part of the World Health Organization. Last December, the US EPA ruled that glyphosate was not likely to cause cancer. So California's Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment, the agency that listed the chemical as a probable carcinogen, is finalizing its regulation, establishing a safe threshold under which glyphosate products would be exempt from the Proposition 65 warning provisions. And so that is pretty much that article, and it was by a GEOFFREY Mohan. And so this man, I'm going to pan back up, and so ignore the ads, but if you look at him, you see that his skin is real splotchy and it looks like it's peeling, like it's burning, and his eyes are rather red. And so this man has been suffering, and it's a result of what he was using at his job as a groundskeeper. I would bet this product is still being used by other groundskeepers. Custodians may have to use products, lots of chemicals, and it can result in these type of illnesses. Well, California is not only dealing with this issue, but I'm going to go over here to this issue right here. This is another issue, but this is a bigger issue right here that California is also dealing with. California, LA County, and the city settled a LISO leak lawsuit with Southern California Gas Company. And so I don't know if anybody saw the news. There was an issue where there was a gas leak. And so some people who live close by this area complained about the smells and what it was doing to their water, their food, and their health. So this is a photo from the report of the task force. It's an interagency task force on natural gas storage safety, and it shows the damage. You can see it here. And this is Aliso Canyon. It's a gas well, and it shows what happened after this massive leak was plugged. And so you can see the effects of this. This is by Sharon McNary, August 8th, 2018. So this is pretty intense here as well. Nearly 3 years after a massive leak broke out at a gas storage field near Porter Ranch, several local government agencies announced they have settled their lawsuits against Southern California Gas Company. So the company will pay out nearly $120 million under that agreement. So if approved by a Superior Court judge, the settlement will end the cases that the city of LA and LA County and the state of California brought against SoCal Gas. So the agreement earmarks up to $34 million to offset the environmental damage caused by methane that leaked from a broken well at the Aliso Canyon under gas storage field. Okay, so underground is where it started. And so it funds a $25 million health study of Porter Ranch residents, part of a larger $45.4 million package of environmental spending. There is $21 million in civil penalties that will fund consumer protection programs and $19 million to cover the government plaintiffs' legal costs. That is a lot of money in all these cases because of the result of the damages that has caused people. You'll see why in this case, but the settlement is silent on closing the gas field forever. So I'm not satisfied with where we are with the regulators in the state of California in terms of closing this facility down, said the Councilman Mitchell Englander, who represents Porter Ranch and other San Fernando Valley areas. Shutting down the gas field will be up to the State Public Utilities Commission. Governor Jerry Brown has called for the field to close by 2027. Okay, so there have been people who have complained that this gas leak has caused them problems with breathing. It has caused them problems with the air quality. They have felt really sick, respiratory problems behind all of this. And so it has caused the big stir in LA County and LA areas that are near and about Aliso Canyon. And so that is this picture here where the leak initially happened underground. And so people have complained a lot about this. And so this is an ongoing thing. A lot of money. And so something even bigger, another lawsuit. And this one could happen to have happened to anyone who, I mean, how many people have gone to like Rite Aid or Walgreens and you get like products, you're thinking you're cleaning yourself with these products, or they make you smell good or fresh, and you've been using it for years. Your grandmother, your people in your family have used the product. Well, this one is a pretty big lawsuit, and it resulted in a cancer, and it was talcum powder. And so it says that we were taught to use baby powder to keep clean. So now what? And so this one was pretty big, and it resulted in, you'll see in a moment. And so this is the talcum powder lawyers. Breaking news. This just in. July 12th, 2018, a jury just awarded $550 million in actual damages and $4 billion in punitive damage in a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson over assertions that its baby powder caused ovarian cancer. Now Johnson faces talcum powder lawsuits nationwide from more than 9,000 plaintiffs seeking to link talc to ovarian cancer. However, it is not too late to join this legal action. So it has here, contact us to learn your options if you develop ovarian cancer after years of using baby powder. You would think baby powder can't be harmful. And I have known people who have used baby powder for years, even on their kids. So you may have serious but time limited legal action. This is pretty serious. So it says, we're not joking. It has a 1 and a 2 listed here. And so their reasoning, talcum powder was used in J&J baby powder for decades, and it may have caused ovarian cancers. Black and Latino women may have higher risk of developing this ovarian cancer, but it gets worse. In fact, talcum powder lawyers are exposing a whole host of potential problems we need to address. So in an internal J&J memo, 1992, noted that while negative publicity from the health community on talc, inhalation, dust, negative doctor endorsement, and cancer linkage continues. They were investigating ethnic, African American, and Hispanic opportunities to grow franchise. Because if white people stop buying your product, that might kill. The obvious choice is to start marketing to Black people. Other internal memos from a special task force dedicated to improving baby powder sales, mentioned reaching out to Ebony Magazine, Aretha Franklin, not a joke, churches, beauty salons. You get the intention. And we encourage you to make your own assumptions about how little they think of your life mattered. So by 1913, J&J, which is Johnson and Johnson, had figured out that women, really, really good customers, especially for any product that promises to make us feel special or beautiful. See, best for babies and best for you. Fast forward to 1965. Want to feel cool, smooth, and dry? It's easy as taking powder from a baby. But it's one thing to want to feel beautiful. It's another thing entirely to want to feel beautiful because a company tells you that you are not beautiful. Baby powder's marketing appeal was so strong because it was backed by cultural myths that women have dirty, unkept bodies that we need to constantly keep in check. So the messaging may be want to feel cool. See, these were slogans and little, words that they used in ads to reel in customers, and they were backed by these myths from long ago that African American women needed to use these extra products to be clean because I'll keep reading, but we all know what they were getting at. You need to mask those odors. That was a message that many African American women heard loud and clear. In fact, African American women tend to douche and deodorize their genitalia area much more than white women, thanks to centuries old cultural myths that Black women are particularly unclean. So think toxic substance, carcinogenic, and suspected toxic substances were totally regulated in the US. Think again. There's more work to be done here, especially when it comes to talcum powder. Since as early as 1970, studies showed how talcum powder was a threat to babies and children when inhaled. And yet, ample studies and subsequent regulatory efforts are subpar at best. You can even still easily find talcum powder-based baby products in grocery stores, supermarkets across the country. Sadly, talcum powder may be similar to other toxic substances and that there may be a severe latency period involved. Fancy speak for women who were exposed to talcum powder some 10 and 30 years ago may only now be developing ovarian cancer. And so, as a result of all of these cultural myths, and usually they go to the poor neighborhoods to sell and push these products by using slogans, wanna be cool, and things like that, wanna be dry, smell good, and look beautiful. So, this is what they were pushing back then. And so, for years, decades, and decades, now you see people, women who have developed ovarian cancer as a result. Truth, cosmetics do not have to receive FDA approval. Let me read that again. Cosmetics do not have to receive FDA approval. Instead, they need to be properly labeled and must be safe for use by consumers under label or customary conditions of use, said rules date of origin 1938. You'll find it in a 345-page law titled the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. Only problem is that cosmetic part of the law is a mere 2 pages long. Efforts to revise this rule have been fruitless. And so It says you have a chance to do something about it if you're one of those people who might have developed ovarian cancer. So Johnson and Johnson talc powder products made J&J around 374 million in 2014. But the value of baby powder extends so much farther. Baby powder has always been a staple product for Johnson and Johnson, allowing them to extend their product line into baby shampoos and other products. So still you have to ask yourself, why did they do it? So it's hard to imagine how something so simple, a daily dusting of a simple product, could result in so much harm. Maybe they never wanted us to know about that ovarian cancer risk. Ovarian cancer makes up only around 1.3% of all new cancer cases in the US. So, however, it is the fifth leading cause of cancer-related death among women. It is a cancer that is so extreme, so horrible, that less than half of all the patients survive even 5 years after they've been diagnosed with it. So by the time most women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer, they've gone through seemingly endless consults, and their symptoms initially excused away as being related to a menstrual problem, IBS, you name it. They basically, misdiagnose the whole thing, say it's just menstrual problems. There are no regular screenings for ovarian cancer, and that's a problem in and of itself. There are no known causes. So that's pretty much this whole thing right here. And so it's amazing how these products can be on the market for years and years. Even today, Johnson & Johnson is still on the market. And most of the women that are big customers or consumers of this product happen to be African American or Hispanic Latino women, Latina women. And so these are big, big issues, y'all. And this is coming out, in our time, where now, as an end result of all these products, people have developed these lifelong illnesses or terminal illnesses that could basically end their lives. And so these are things that you would think are, everybody's using, everybody's, a part of. And there's really no way out of some of these things, and or you were totally unaware that it was, cancer causing, and you've been using it for a long time, or you're unsuspecting that it would result in some kind of lifelong sickness or worse. And so these are some big lawsuits. And so, what are your thoughts and feedback on this? But I'm just going back over here. Look at the result of this man and his skin after using this Roundup. After so long, he developed this horrible lymphoma cancer. And he's going to be awarded $289 million as a result. And I know people think, wow, big payout, but look what he's dealing with. Like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for listening.